it's MK and I am back with Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches. Here's the sketch that we will be working with today. And I chose to do another pocket page. So I picked out these alphas by Thickers, and they are the Avenue. Actually, I think they're by American Crafts. Oh, I don't remember. So I've already done my my title, and I will have to manipulate a few elements on in this alphabet set in order to get what I really wanted to say, which I am a-okay with doing that. I've also taken one of the pieces from my shop and went ahead and cut off the shelf type piece so that way it was a little bit more rounded to represent one of the elements on the layout, or I should say the sketch. I'm going to do this little pocket page here. Now, I did not cut this pocket page down. It is by Close to My Heart and it comes this way. I also have a bag full of just brown labels that I would like to rifle through and see if any of them will work. And then for fun, I pulled out these, again, they are wooden elements from my shop that I just sprayed with mica spray to give them a little bit of a metallic texture. I have this leftover Kaisercraft paper from another layout. And then I have this really cool Studio Light Industrial 3.0 paper that I absolutely love. I just love all of the different elements in it. And then it has this slate or granite gray on the very back. So what I'm going to do is take that branding strip because I plan on using that in my elements as well. And then I'm going to just use half of this paper and I'm going to use the front and the back. So the back side of my pocket page is actually full of pockets. And so, or of course it is, full of photos. And so I'm basically not even going to show you guys what that looks like because it is just photos matted with the slate gray. So what I'm doing now is I'm prepping for all of the elements, and I kind of like to get all my elements ready first before I start gluing down and getting into the process. So once I've selected everything that I want to go on my layout, I then start to build my layout. So what I've done here is I've totally Frankensteined this sketch. I took out the first set of photos in a row. So I've only got the 3 photos that are closest to the title portion. But then I also took out the middle photo and I smushed the title portion in between the upper and lower photos. So I basically manipulated this sketch to work in my favor. That is what I have done. And then all of the different elements that I'm going to be adding. So the piece that I'm working with now, this geared piece that I rounded the corner on, is representing the circle that the title will sit on. Or no, it's not. It's representing the square that the circle is sitting on. And then my geared piece is representing the circle that my title was supposed to sit on, but then it became too bulky. So my title is actually going to go just below that element. So when I first thought about it, I was like, absolutely, that would look awesome having the title up on top. In fact, I think I still audition it, but I'm not really sure. So because of the thickness of my wood veneer piece, I do have to add a little bit of foam above and below it. So that way the brown border strip that I plan on putting on will actually have a place to rest instead of looking like it goes over the wooden piece. Now the brown strip is actually representing the piece of paper that is behind the photos. So that is why I wanted it to extend onto the next two, basically they're going to be photo mats. And I did trim my photos down on this particular side of the pocket page. I trimmed them down quite a bit. That way I did have the exact same element, which, says that they're like a little shorter. And so that way you're going to be able to see some of, the brown and the gray and the wood. No, that's not wood. The geared Kaisercraft paper. So it's just a small representation because I have such a small footprint to work with. And so I'm going to overlap my photos just ever so slightly because that's kind of what it looks like in the sketch, is that the photos are on top of, but they extend over. And so basically that's what I'm doing, except I'm taking it to the extreme. Mine are extending way over. So like I said, I totally manipulated this sketch to work for me. I pulled elements from this sketch that I wanted and that I loved and made it work in my favor. I'm also manipulating these alphas to work in my favor. Now, I didn't have any more T's, so I took an L and flipped it upside down, and I really like how that looks. I also took a 3, and I was going to use that as an E, but when I cut down my ampersand sign, which I got not only an apostrophe, but I also got another 3 out of it, it looked more like an E than a 3. So I switched up my 3 and my E, but I still have all of my letters, and I still think they look great, even though I had to trim one up and get it to do what I wanted it to do. So I am going to audition some of these other gears, but in all honesty, I love how this looks all by itself. I seriously did not want to put anything else on this layout. The 3 gears were supposed to represent the 3 little hearts that were in the sketch, but they're not small. And so I just basically thought, no, I don't need those. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to fill the gap. That's what I'm trying to work with is I didn't put my title all the way over to the brown piece because it's on the circle, and I wanted it to be on the circle, but because of dimension and in a pocket, it was too thick. So I had to come up with something else, but I didn't want it to be next to that brown piece of paper, or the border strip, I should say, because it's not in the sketch. So I had to find something that will fill the gap. And this little tag, it's a very uber super old tag by Close to My Heart. Uber super old, came with my favoriteest little numbers ever that took me forever to use up, but I finally did. Anyways, and it's uber super thick. So I had to add a little foam behind it because it is going to sit on top of, I wanted it to be like the same thickness as my wood veneer piece. So I did that, and now I'm just using my blade to trim it up and make sure that it fits snug in that little area. I wanted it to look like it kind of overlapped with the brown piece, so I'm just kind of trimming it off little bit by little bit. And it was a little like I needed to have some hand power to cut through. It is so thick, you guys. Oh my gosh. But I am glad to be using it up finally. And I also cut down a small, what's it called? Like a little label thing at the very beginning. I was going to use it to cover up, but I thought, no, I don't really need it. So that was very brief and, didn't happen. I'm going to add some few splatters just so that way it kind of all comes together. And that's it. This is how I manipulated the sketch to work in my favor and work in a very small pocket page. I do love adding these pocket pages into my albums, you guys, and I know I've mentioned it before, but I've been getting a lot of compliments lately, or comments, I should say, about all of these different size pockets and things like that in my album. I do plan on doing a flip through eventually. I promise you guys, I will do a flip through of an album or two that has these in there so you guys can all check it out. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope that you check out all of the links down below and everyone else that is playing along with Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches or both. Or whatever other challenges. I've seen some people actually mixing them with other challenges, and it's like, oh my gosh, how many more can you get in one layout? That is so amazing. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and I will check y'all later. Bye.